What's going on with Devaughn Vele? We're going to figure it out. We're going to explain it to you. We're going to dive into some really interesting numbers because obviously, as we know, the Saints traded a 4th and a 7th round pick with the Denver Broncos in the preseason, but we have not seen them cash in on that trade. He's been underutilized. He hasn't been getting enough snaps. He hasn't been getting enough targets. He hasn't been getting nearly enough production. So what the hell is happening? Let's figure it out. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to today's channel. But let's tell you about Vele's stats so far in 2025. Since the New Orleans Saints traded a 4th and a 7th round pick for him in the preseason, a top 100 selection, by the way, he has 6 catches on 13 targets, 54 yards, 1 touchdown, and 9 yards per catch. Nice. Not. Look, I will also say something to consider. You have to understand there has been a few, honestly, nice catches and big chunks of yardage that were lost due to the Saints committing penalties, so it got wiped away. But Vele still has been wildly underutilized. 211 snaps in 2025. Less than a third of the snaps this season. You have a top 100 pick invested in this player. You traded away Rashid Shaheed. And you will find out here in a moment that we are seeing his snap count go up. But it's not really cashing in on the production. So how many yards will Devaughn Vele finish with? I would like to see at least 500. Like, to be totally honest, if you get less than 500, that feels really bad in terms of the vibes. Like, I know vibes aren't how you look at a team, but, like, it just doesn't feel good to invest that high-level pick into a player that didn't even get you 500 yards. I think this back half of the season, we are going to see more. That's what Kellen Moore had to say. We're going to dive into that here in a second. But I want to look at the snap counts. Because remember, he got traded for in the preseason. But now we're sitting here after week 10, and his snap count has severely shot up since Rashid Shaheed was traded. R.I.P. my sweet prince. Week 10. 59 snaps. Ladies and gentlemen, he played 86.8% of snaps. You see in week 3, he played 0. In week 4, he played 4. I mean, look at that. Look at the drastic difference. And so the first thing is he hasn't been on the field enough. He hasn't been getting the opportunities to try to make plays, to go and get routes. And when you look at Devaughn Vele's snap count, it's obviously not something that is going to lead to a ton of production because those are wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 level snap counts, or low level wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 snap counts, and he just isn't really putting up good production per game. It's not good, and I'm expecting these numbers to increase as we get through the back half of the season. But the per game averages are just frustrating, to say the least. Like, we got to be getting better in terms of the targets. We're not even getting a catch per game. I'm not asking for a touchdown per game, but, can we get more than 5.5 yards per game? Like, what the hell are we doing here? It's a top 100 pick that you invested in this player, and it's just really frustrating, to say the least. And when you revisit the trade, you understand that the Saints were in a position where you needed a big-bodied receiver. You needed some size. You lost Bub Means to injury, and he went on season-ending IR. You needed size in the wide receiver room. And I thought that trading for a player that fits that mold is a good idea. I also thought we would have seen more in terms of cashing in on the trade. I thought he'd be a little bit more utilized. And I'm going to tell you something really interesting. Devaughn Vele led the New Orleans Saints in snap counts in terms of wide receivers. Don't believe me? Stick around and I'll prove it to you. Real ones are only allowed to subscribe to Saints Now, by the way. If you think you're a real one, and if you think you're a real Saints fan, I want you to test it out. Hit the sub button, and you'll take the test. Not going to let you down or anything, but if you hit the sub button and you're allowed to join the squad, the Golden Gang, that means you're a real one. And that means you're part of my family. So join the family, join the squad, hit the sub button, so that way you can get daily Saints content by fans, for fans, news, rumors, updates, interactive content, all right here. Join it if you're a real Saints fan. Now, the black and gold need to make right on their investment. I think I've said it about 5 or 6 times at this point. but that is something that I believe to be severely true. Remember how a moment ago I said Devaughn Vele led the Saints in snap counts in Week 10? Well, let's take a look. I mean, look at this. He played 86% of snaps. That's more than Chris Olave, more than Brandon Cooks, more than anyone else on the roster. And the fact that he didn't get a ton of opportunities, it's a little frustrating. I mean, he was targeted. He got 1 catch on 3 targets. He was tied for target with Foster Moreau, Alvin Kamara. Juwan Johnson was second in targets. Chris Olave was first. And I think that it's really cool to see that his snap count increased. Kellen Moore said that would happen. But you need to make right on the investment. Now you're giving him the snaps. It's time to get the production. How do we do that? I have the answer in one moment. You guys need to check out the jerseys, though. I got my dog Dude one of these. He's really, really cute. He's going to have one very soon. If you want to get your furry friend one as well, chatsports.com/SaintsPet. Link is in the comments description. Kellen Moore saying that Devaughn Vele would have a very healthy role and he would be very involved moving forward. That's something that he said after Rashid Shaheed was traded. So now that we have seen him be honest with that, and we've seen that be the case, I mean, his snap count went from 12 snaps in Week 9. Granted, he didn't have a lot of snaps against the Rams, to 58, 29% to 86%. That's a drastic jump. Kellen Moore, he was honest. He told you what was going to happen, and that's what we got. Now it's time to see him be a bigger contributor. I want to see him be more involved in the offense. I want to see him get plays schemed up to him. And I'm not going to take anything away from Tyler Shuck, and because I think that he was doing a good job of feeding the hot hands. Shuck was very clearly comfortable throwing the ball to Chris Olave and throwing the ball to Juwan Johnson. Those were his obvious, most comfortable targets. Those are the guys he targeted the most by far. But I think that you need to utilize Devaughn Vele in a much better fashion. How do you do that? Line him up as a big-bodied slot receiver. He caught 60% of his contested catches in 2024. 44% of targets went to Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson yesterday. And I think that you could take some of those targets that you sent to other players and put them in for Devaughn Vele, and you could give him chances in the red zone. You could give him chances on third down. You could give him chances over the middle. You could give him chances down the seam. He's a big-bodied player. Let him go make big-bodied catches. He is really good in contested catch situations. I think if you line him up as a slot, that's where he excels the most. And I'm not asking the Saints to get him at 1,000 yards by any means, but can we get 500? I mean, the alignment for Devaughn Vele, it's like we're just not using it properly. He has always been better as a slot receiver. Out wide, 109 snaps so far this season. That's fine. I'm not going to get mad at that. But I think that we need to use him more often in the slot. Let's balance out the areas where he lines up in the alignment, and let's make Devaughn Vele make plays the way he knows how to and the way he's most effective. I think trading for Devaughn Vele was a smart move for New Orleans. I think that when you consider the facts that you had to make a decision on Rashid Shaheed, you had to take into consideration what you were going to do with Chris Olave's contract as well. When you trade for Devaughn Vele, he's only a second-year player. I know he's a little bit older, but you pushed back the timeline and the clock to pay a wide receiver 2 at least. And it's not like you have to pay a ton of money, but you push that back a little bit. And even if it's we have him around, we push it back for a couple of years, you draft a receiver top 10 next year, the year after, in the next few years, you're able to do that and not have to pay somebody because you now have Devaughn Vele. So, there is pros, there is cons. Shaheed was under contract year. You had to make decisions there. But I think trading for Devaughn Vele only makes sense and only makes the fan base happy if you see him get real production. You saw him finally get snaps. It's time for him to get some targets and some receptions and some yards and some touchdowns. And let's see him be a contributor. Now, I will give him credit, though. One thing I forgot to mention, Lopez, was the fact that he was also showing up as a blocker. There was one play, Alvin Kamara on a screen. Devaughn Vele, 25 yards downfield, blocking, driving a guy 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. I mean, nice. I'll take it. I'm happy with that kind of stuff. But again, I want to see him be a regular contributor as a receiver as well. Now, if you guys want to get more content in between these videos, hit me up on X, Instagram, or TikTok. Trizzy Trace on all 3 platforms. Search the name on either social media platform, or you can click the link in the comments or description to take you right there. I have been able to grow my accounts really, really well thanks to you guys, and I want to continue to do that, and I want to continue to give you guys content and continue the conversation on another platform, so hit me up, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.